Really interesting article here by Alan McLeod at Mint Press News. I'll link down below. Um, More or less talking about how the corporate media is running cover for Amazon and how they were stealing their delivery drivers' tips, using that to offset the money they themselves had to pay their delivery drivers. And it seems pretty coincidental that this what do you call him, a human being, just this sack of bullshit. How, let's say Jeff Bezos, him retiring as CEO or stepping down from that position of Amazon coincided with Amazon having to pay out 61 million for stealing those tips from their workers. So media runs defense for Amazon after retail giant caught stealing millions from workers. So that's, stealing millions exactly is what they did from their workers. But let's take a look to see how the corporate media frame this just disgusting behavior. But again, shouldn't be unexpected from companies like Amazon that really legitimately all they care about is the bottom line. If that means further exploitation, and this case outright theft, they're totally fine with it. Federal Trade Commission ruled that the company had illegally stolen more than $61 million worth of customer tips meant for its delivery drivers. Under their contracts, Amazon drivers are supposed to make between $18 and $25 per hour and keep all their tips. However, since at least 2016, so that's 18, 19, 20, like 5, going on 6 years almost now, company have been secretly confiscating tips customers sent through an app using their contributions to reduce their own wage payouts, meaning they were swindling both customers and employees. So fucking sick. Capitalism for you. That's a real virus, my friends. Total, Amazon stole nearly 1/3 of drivers' tips to pad its own bottom. And this the company, Bezos himself, is worth what, 170, 180 fucking billion, and they can't even let their delivery drivers keep the tips that they're entitled to. It's just disgusting. Unlike corporate crimes cases in other nations, Amazon will merely be required to pay back the money it took from its employees. Thus, it will face no negative consequences except a possible public relations backlash due to the bad press. That is, if the corporate media frames it as such, which this article gets into. Yet, instead of grilling Amazon, the media appears to be working hard to run defense for it, downplaying the nature of the crime in their headlines. Jesus. The word steal was noticeably absent from much of the reporting, despite the fact that the original Reuters report used the word in its title, a direct reflection of the FTC's ruling. So it's not even being hyperbolic. That's literally what the FTC said in the ruling. Amazon was stealing the tips from their delivery drivers. Many newspapers instead decided to go with withhold. That they weren't withholding. Like, no, we'll just keep this for 5 or 6 years, and then we get caught by the FTC, then we will unwithhold this. I mean, Jesus Christ, how Amazon to pay fine for withholding tips and delivery drivers. New York Times, LA Times. Amazon will pay 61.7 delivery drivers after withholding tips. Notice how they're trying to downplay that this was a deliberate act by Amazon, this theft, this stealing of their delivery drivers' tips. But again, that's why you got to be very careful where you get your news from. You get it from the New York Times, Pittsburgh Post, Independent, LA Times. Like, you're going to be fed this corporate bullshit. Pittsburgh Post Gazette. Amazon agrees to multi-million settlement for withholding drivers' tips. Independent. Amazon ordered to pay 61.7 in fine. Jesus Christ, look at all these. Pocketing, Financial Times and BBC. Keeping, CBS News. Shorting, Courthouse News, or shortchanging, WAPO. Even worse, many more frame the news as mere allegation, despite the fact that the FTC had made a formal ruling Forbes, for instance, led with the headline, Amazon will pay $61.7 million settlement after allegedly. No, like, that's legitimately what they did. That's why they're having to pay back those stolen fucking tips. I mean, Jesus Christ. Daily Caller, Daily Mail did the same, while in a tweet on the news, Vox claimed that emphasis added, Amazon will pay $61.7 million settlement over allegations that the company used customers' tips to... Look at that. Yeah. They were only subsidizing. ZDet News, tech news site, whose headline was, Amazon will pay $61.7 to settle Flex driver dispute. Look at that, dude. Yeah. This is important. Here's Alan McLeod. Framing is an important concept in media, as the words chosen encourage readers to interpret news in a certain manner. For instance, this week, reporting on the same healthcare issue, CNN framed it as Biden signs executive order expanding healthcare access, while Fox News presented with Biden signs order on far left health priorities. Yeah, and then he makes a point, a lot of people don't read past the headlines. So by these headlines totally downplaying the theft of these stolen wages, these stolen tips from these workers, it totally, exonerates Amazon from the really fucked up shit that they were doing and continue to do in so many ways. Yeah, so again, not surprising. And obviously, I think the Bezos stepping down as CEO just as the FTC came out with this ruling, ordering Amazon to pay back this almost $62 million in tips that they stole from the workers is not a coincidence. And again, just be very, very careful where you get your news from. And if it's a corporate media source, just make sure you're reading it with a critical lens, a critical mindset, because oftentimes they're going to obviously paint things in a positive way for the corporations, Amazon in this case. And yeah, I would just say it's really important to, if you're getting your media from corporate sources, to actually filter that through a critical lens. And obviously I would encourage you to consume your media from more independent sources like Mint Press News. Like the video if you like the damn video. Subscribe for more content. All power to the people. Peace. Much love. Leave your comments down below if you have any.